We have a new chairman of the board. His name is David Crane. David Crane has been a friend of the Robert Jackson Center, has been a board member of the Robert Jackson Center, and in his many, many lives, he was the founding chief prosecutor of the Special Tribunal at Sierra Leone. For those who've been following the Charles Taylor case at Sierra Leone, which just drew to a very successful conclusion, he was the individual who made the decision on behalf of the United Nations when he was appointed as the chief prosecutor to indict Charles Taylor. Charles Taylor, was the president of Liberia at the time, and ultimately, as you know, the rest of it is history. That doesn't happen every day. Ultimately, he left the country. Ultimately, he was extradited, ultimately tried, convicted, and sentenced this past month or so. And David Crane is the guy responsible for that. But now he's wearing another hat. He's chairman of the board of the Robert H. Jackson Center. He succeeds Stan Lundeen, who Dave will wax eloquent in just a second, but let me put my 2 cents in. We are where we are today because of Stan Lundeen and his chairmanship. But I won't talk about it now. I'll let David do that. David?
I'll get there. Goodness gracious.
Not an easy path to be chairman of this board.
No, I tell you. Thanks, Craig. This is just a great evening. I mean, we do serious business. We're part of serious business. We're commemorating serious business about serious things: war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, seeking justice. That's important. But tonight, let's put this aside a bit and just understand that the people in this room and others are the ones that make our center what it is. I'd like to think that that Western New York boy who used to walk the hills here in Warren and Jamestown, I think he'd be, frankly, damn amazed. Don't you think? Yes. I think he would fit very nicely here and have just a good time with good people from Western New York and elsewhere. So that's what I want to, the message I want to convey. I have some other things I've got to do as the chairman, but I just want to tell you that as how important you are to us. You know, I could say as a chairman of the board we need more money and that kind of stuff, but that's, but that
go ahead.
Well, thank you, Greg. I'm glad you asked. You understand this, and you're giving, and you will continue to give, and we don't take that for granted either. I mean, we really don't. And you all do very well, and we need your help always. But this is our evening to where we just have a good meal, and we just enjoy each other's company and reflect on how proud Robert Jackson would have been. Now I have to do some other things too, and what I really like to do at first is introduce our new President and Chief Executive Officer. We don't have an executive director anymore. We have a professional President and Chief Executive Officer who, along with the board and his wonderful staff, we're going to move into the next 10 years, and we're just thrilled to have Jim Johnson and his wife Pam here. I've known Jim since 1982. We were young judge advocates together at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. We jumped out of airplanes. We did wild and crazy things. And reflecting back how many years ago that was and how quickly they moved forward. When I was asked to be the chief prosecutor of the Special Court for Sierra Leone, the West African Tribunal, you know, like Robert Jackson, you just don't pick up a phone and go, I'll have a bunch of war crimes prosecutors, please, and some investigators. You got to go find them yourself. You got to create your own office. And it's serious business. I mean, when you take down a head of state for war crimes and crimes against humanity, you better get it right, because you don't have a second chance. Can you imagine him being acquitted and going back? Well, one of the people that I did reach out for very early on, I got there in August of 2002. In January, I questioned him a little bit. I had to ask him if he'd like to leave Garmisch, Germany. to come to Freetown, Sierra Leone. And this fine gentleman did, and left his family like we all did. Of course, Pam got to stay in Garmisch for a little bit longer. But the point is that he did. He stopped what he was doing, retired from the United States Army, and became head of our task force that took down the leadership of the Civil Defense Force. And from there, he, of course, obviously, because of his talents, became chief of prosecutions, not the chief prosecutor, but the chief of prosecution, responsible for the conduct of trials, and that would be Charles Taylor. So it was actually Jim Johnson and his team that actually took the indictment that I signed in March of 2003 and actually put, as we used to say, our motto of our office was, let's put some bad guys in jail. And Jim Johnson, we did, but Jim Johnson and his team put the only sitting head of state since Nuremberg in jail for 50 years for war crimes and crimes against humanity. There's nothing wrong with the good guys winning now and then. Well, it was Jim that did that, but also, like any situation when you are gone, whether it be at Nuremberg, whether it be at Freetown, there's a family left behind, and his wife Pam and their wonderful children lost their dad for quite a while. You know, Jim was in Freetown, Sierra Leone for 9.5 years. He's just come back. I mean, this time last month, he was in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and he's joined us here in Jamestown. Kind of like Freetown. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Jim Johnson, our new president and CEO, and if you'd like just to say a few words, Jim, please.
Thank you for all of those kind words, Dave. I very much appreciate that. But I was just one member of a team, and I was proud to be a part of that team. And it was that team that did it, and it was that team that put a total of 9 war criminals in jail, and we're very proud of that accomplishment. But thank you. I look around here today, and when I see all of you, I know why Pam and I have chosen to come to the Jackson Center. And I look around and I see all of the support, and that the Jackson Center and of course Jamestown are very much tied together. And it was Jamestown that has brought the Jackson Center this far, and all of you that have brought the Jackson Center this far. And this is why Pam and I have come here, because we have seen where the Jackson Center has come. We have seen what Greg has done, and Stan and all of those before me, and we're very much looking forward to the opportunity to try to move the Jackson Center even farther. And we're very pleased, and we're looking forward to that challenge. Just 2 other things I would like to first thank. I've gotten around to meet a lot of you tonight, and over the coming weeks and coming months, I will try to get around and meet all of you and say hello and get to know you all, and we're very, very much looking forward to that. I want to thank, Pam and I, of course, are moving to the community, and I certainly want to thank this community as a whole, has been so welcoming to us and has received us. I particularly need to thank Carol and Rod over there, because they have opened up their home to us. We're waiting for our home to be ready, and thanks to them, we're not sleeping on the street. We have a place to stay, and I want to thank them very, very much. And possibly the last thing I want to say is, when I look around this room and appreciate the effort that the staff, that Carol and Deb and Jennifer have put together, have done, and the efforts that they have taken in making all of this here happen tonight, and a wonderful catering crew, it just makes us that much more excited to come to this place and work with all of the wonderful people that are a part of it, and all of you. And so we thank you very, very much for this.